Good morning. It is Wednesday, September 20th. It is 9:30 in the morning, and we are going to call the Ottawa City Commission regular meeting to order. Could we please have the roll call?
Mayor Kaler.
Present.
Commissioner Skidmore.
Present.
Commissioner Graves.
Present.
Commissioner Jorgensen.
Present.
Commissioner Crowley.
Present.
I'd like to welcome everybody who is in the audience today and individuals who may be listening on KOFO or on our Facebook Live, or maybe watching this afterwards. We're always glad when individuals are part of the process. We are here representing you and know that we do the business for you, so we are glad that you participate as your government, as a part of your government. We were going to begin the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation with Pastor Charlie Adams. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Eternal Lord, in this season of hurricanes and earthquakes, division and conflict, we today graciously ask you to regard those who have been set in positions of authority among us, that, guided by your Spirit, they may be high in purpose, wise in counsel, firm in good resolution, and unwavering in duty, that under them we may be governed quietly and peaceably through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor Adams. And Pastor Adams leads the First Lutheran Church, and we appreciate him being here today. That moves us on to the consent agenda, which includes minutes from the July 31st, August 7th, August 14th study session, and the August 2nd regular meeting. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. We approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, motion carries. That moves us on to the regular agenda. Public comment is the first item that is on our agenda. Are there individuals who have registered for public comment today?
No one's registered.
Okay, great. Well, we welcome anybody who would like to come in at any time to have a conversation with us during public comment. That brings us on to declaration. At this time, I'd like to give commissioners a chance to declare any conflict or communication they may have had that might influence their ability to consider today's issues impartially. Commissioners? Perfect. All right. Seeing none, we will move forward to new business.
Proclamation recognizing Constitution Week on September 17th through 23rd, 2017.
Constitution Week is an official week to commemorate the anniversary of the creation of the world's longest living written constitution. Members of the General Edward Hand Chapter, Daughters of the American Revolution, will attend the meeting, and they're here. We're so glad you're here. And Gail Short will accept the proclamation. And the proclamation will be read by Commissioner Jorgensen.
It's my great pleasure to read the proclamation since my grandmother, Gladys Whitehorn Jorgensen, was a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution, the Oahe chapter. She traced her lineage back to the Jamestown colony, and her ancestor, the Whitehorn, was a bookkeeper, maybe even a city clerk for the Jamestown colony in the 1500s. But the proclamation reads as follows. Whereas September 17th, 2017 marks the 230th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize the magnificent document and the anniversary of its creation, and whereas in 1956, at the urging of the National Society, Daughters of the American Revolution, Congress set aside September 17th through 23rd annually to be dedicated for the observance of Constitution Week to 1. Emphasize every citizen's responsibility to protect and defend the Constitution. 2. Inform the people that the Constitution is the basis for America's great heritage and the foundation for our way of life. And 3. Encourage the study of historical events which led to the framing of the Constitution in September 1787. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, the governing body of the City of Ottawa, Kansas does hereby proclaim September 17th through 23rd, 2017 to be Constitution Week in Ottawa, Kansas, and asks our citizens to reflect upon and affirm the ideals the framers of the Constitution had in 1787. Signed this 20th day of September 2017 by Sarah Kaler, the mayor.
Thank you. Gail? Come on up. We have to take an official picture. We got to get you. Yeah, you're looking so good. Come on up. Look right here, this gentleman. All right, here you go. We'd love to hear from you. Yes.
On behalf of the General Edward Hand Chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, I proudly accept this proclamation regarding Constitution Week. 230 years ago, the framers of our Constitution gathered in a room to sign a document that is still in effect today. It is the oldest document still in active use that outlines the self-government of a nation. These men knew there were great responsibilities in front of them to craft a document that would ensure the success of the new republic and allow that republic to grow. So from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1787 to Ottawa, Kansas in 2017, our desire for self-governing and taking care of our communities and neighbors continues. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for your service to our community.
Thank you. Next, that moves us on to item 11.
Proclamation recognizing October as Community Planning Month.
Community Planning Month is an opportunity to publicly recognize the dedication of the Planning Commission members, as well as highlight the importance of sound planning and plan implementation. Planning Commissioner Chairperson Jack Maxwell will accept the proclamation, and the proclamation reads as follows. Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, rural areas, and other places. And whereas community planning and plans can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how we work and live. And whereas community planning provides an opportunity for residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of their community. And whereas the full benefits of planning requires public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation. And whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America. And whereas the American Planning Association and its professional institute, the American Institute of Certified Planners, who endorses National Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight the contributions, sound planning, and plan implementation to make the quality of our settlements and environment. And whereas the celebration, the celebration of National Community Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of the Planning Commission and other citizen planners who have contributed their time, expertise to the City of Ottawa. And whereas we recognize many valuable contributions made by the Planning Commission of the City of Ottawa and extend our heartfelt thanks to the Chairperson, Jack Maxwell, Vice Chairperson, Bill Crowley, Rich Powers, Kimber Korn, Betty Berzer, Doug Rich, Justin Watts, for their continued commitment to public service by these citizens. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the governing body of the City of Ottawa, Kansas, does hereby proclaim October 2017 as Community Planning Month in the City of Ottawa in conjunction with the celebration of National Community Planning Month. Signed this the 20th day of September 2017 by the mayor, myself, Sarah Kaler. Come on up, Jack. Yes, you do. Right here, we hold hands, and then we do this, and we go, yes. All right, now I want to hear from you. Okay.
Well, I didn't come to say a lot, but I want to say thank you on behalf of the Planning Commission. I'm accepting this for the whole commission. It's a great group to work with. We deal with meaningful things. We take it seriously. We spend lots of time at it. We'd be willing to spend more. We appreciate your support. I think, if anything, if we were communicating more with you, that'd be great. We'd enjoy that. We like that leadership back and forth with you. So we appreciate it, and I do appreciate very much this recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maxwell. We appreciate it. And we look forward to hearing from you more and from other individuals from the Planning Commission. Thank you. That moves us on to the next item on the agenda.
Public hearing to allow comments on Cdbg Old City Hall grant.
Rehabilitation work planned for this grant has been completed, and staff is ready to close the grant. I believe that Mrs. Lee will be addressing this, and I believe Susan Gilmore will be addressing us too today. So, maybe? Okay, or not. Okay, yeah, just everybody come up.
We're trying to decide who to do it first.
Oh, okay, well.
Oh, shoot. Well, Susan's the expert, but just to remind the public, this was a project at Old City Hall, 123 West 4th, and the partnership was with Wise Guys Construction and Rick Dietz, who's the owner, because Rick had to put up funds and Wise Guys did the construction, and we were the partner that kind of worked between them. There is no city funds in it, just in case people are questioning that. The work that was completed includes roof and guttering repairs, accessibility for those with disabilities, rough-in of electrical to the panel, water and sewer rough-in for Phase 1 units, window and storm window repairs, brick tuck pointing, installation of a sprinkler system throughout the building. The final project cost was $384,765.14. The Cdbg grant award was for $250,000, and that never changed throughout the project. The balance coming from the owners. So the hearing is before we close out the grant, just in case there's more comments from the public, and then Susan can say whatever else needs to be said.
You know, I think before I need to probably officially open, which I'm here, I officially open the public hearing. So, hey, Susan, we'd like to hear from you. During the open, after the public hearing's open, of course.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Wendy basically covered the nuts and bolts of this particular project. The commercial rehabilitation program authorized through Cdbg, it's relatively new through Kansas Department of Commerce, so this is one of the bigger projects, I would say, that they've undertaken in its infancy. So it lends itself to have kind of a tough dynamic just because you have a lot of players in it. And I just wanted to say that I don't know that this particular project, because it's a bit of a complicated project dealing with SHPO and a private building owner and the city and codes and all that good stuff, I'm not sure it would have got done on time like we did if it hadn't been for the resiliency of your city staff. So I so much appreciate, especially Wendy in particular, their effort to keep this going forward and working with the building owner and all of the strange rules that come with Cdbg that we have to meet. So at the end of the day, I feel like it turned out really well. We were monitored by Cdbg a couple weeks ago, I think it was, and the person that came down to do that was very happy with final product. So overall, we felt like it was a very positive project. So I'm just here in case you guys have any questions in particular in relations to the grant or the public, either one.
Okay. Questions for Susan? Ms. Gilmore?
When are we getting our next one?
As soon as you have another project you want to apply
That's
for.
Okay.
it. We'll keep you busy.
Excellent.
Hey.
Any additional questions for Ms. Gilmore? We appreciate the partnership. Thank you. I really flippantly opened up this public hearing, although I do want everyone to know that this is a very serious public hearing. Use of Cdbg funds are always welcome, and we are glad to have it. So I certainly want to open it up to the public if they have any questions or comments they'd like to make about this particular grant. Now would be the time to do so. Is there anybody who'd like to make public comment? All right, last call. Anybody who wants to make public comment? Nobody is running to the mic, so I think we're okay. I'm going to go ahead and close this public hearing at 9:45, and I will move us on to item 13.
Request for approval of resolution authorizing the mayor and city clerk to sign closeout documents for the Cdbg Old City Hall grant.
Authorization to execute the closeout documents for this grant. Those were my comments as listed in the agenda. Is there a motion to approve line item 13?
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner,
I move that we approve item 13 on the agenda.
is there a second for that motion?
I'll second that.
Any discussion among commissioners?
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner?
I will be abstaining from vote on this. I am a executive officer and director of a business that does business with both the contractor and the property owner. Although it's not a conflict of interest by definition of law, I do not want to have any appearance of a conflict of interest.
Okay, we understand. Commissioner Jorgensen will abstain from the vote. Any other discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner?
I will abstain also, as I was a contractor on the project.
Okay. Commissioner Crowley will abstain from this vote also. Any other discussion? All right, we will proceed to vote.
How do you vote, Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Graves?
Yes.
Commissioner Jorgensen?
Abstain.
Commissioner Crowley?
Abstain?
Mayor Kaler?
And I vote yes. Motion carries. All right, that moves us on to the next item on the agenda.
Acceptance of the fiscal 2016 financial audit.
The 2016 financial audit was prepared by Meishauser and Company, and I believe that Mr. Bird, our Director of Finance, who does a great job for us here at the City of Ottawa, will present this financial audit to us.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes.
As you mentioned, the governing body heard from Ms. Audrey Oderman of Meishauser, our auditors. You heard a very good report in regards to our 2016 fiscal year. I would point out a couple of things. You have the audit in front of you. I'm not going to go through it like she did, but in case the public wants to look at it, a couple of things that should be pointed out on page 2 is that at the very top of the page is what's titled as adverse opinion on U.S. generally accepted accounting principles. The reason that adverse opinion is there is because we don't use GAAP-based accounting, and we do that with intent. Each year you all approve that resolution that we're not going to use GAAP-based accounting. The next paragraph down is an unmodified opinion on regulatory basis of accounting. What that means is we have a clean audit because we use a cash basis accounting. We have an unmodified opinion there. There is no modifications to their opinion. We have a good audit here. The next page over is actually a summary of the various funds. And I think, if anyone is interested in looking at that, they will see that this is a good-looking audit, and they can pour through it. If the public has any questions or wants a copy of it, we'll make those available. We'll have it online in the near future. I want to take just a moment and express my appreciation not only to my staff, which I expressed my appreciation the other day when Ms. Oderman was here, but I also took a little bit of time and thanked some of the other city employees who weigh in on this, because we're not the only ones that have our hands on what's going on financially, and so it takes a collective team effort throughout the city, and I want to express my appreciation to all of them.
Perfect.
Questions?
Commissioners, do you have questions for Mr. Bird? If not,
I just want to echo it too. Yeah, I mean, it was a good audit, Scott, and I know they'd mentioned on page 7 some kind of a concern about the two banks resulting in a concentration of credit, but those deposits are all protected by either FDIC insurance or pledgings that are acceptable by our state.
And that is absolutely correct.
So,
and we would be more than happy to work with other banks, but for various reasons they are precluded from doing so based on their own needs at the time. So we wouldn't mind spreading a little bit of that around, but as it is right now, that's where we are, and we're very pleased to to be working with one of our local banks and with the state. It's worked out pretty well for us.
And I realize they've got to find something. Blake knows how these things work too in the bank. But I would venture to say if the books of heaven itself were opened up and audited, they find something. So I'm confident that they've got to do their job and find something, and it was very, very, very minor what they found. But
As
I'm
long
very
as
pleased.
it's not your name or my name that they find.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's right.
Auditors need a job after life.
They got to do
That's
something.
right.
So with all that said, I make a motion we accept the audit.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the financial audit of 2015. Any discussion among commissioners? If not, we will proceed to vote.
How do you vote, Commissioner Crowley?
Yes.
Commissioner Jorgensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore? Commissioner Graves?
Yes.
Mayor Kayler?
And I vote yes, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That moves us on to a report by city manager.
Commissioners, I have nothing except I see our good friend Doug Carter
Yes.
is here, who has been
You mic.
absent for a while.
Mike.
Now you have to start all
Anyway,
over again.
I see our good friend Doug Carter here, who has been absent for a while as our reporter, so I hope this is a good sign. Welcome back, Doug.
Yeah. Absolutely.
See you at noon.
Okay, yes. All right, on to reports by city commissioners. Commissioner Graves?
I have no report.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Well, the month of September is nearing an end. We've had certainly a good month, as we appreciate all the people in Ottawa with all the volunteers out with regard to the Cowboy Days, the antique tractor show, as well as the car show. So thanks to all the volunteers and city staff for all their hard work in making it happen too.
Commissioner Jorgensen?
Many of you know that I just got back from a week-long driving vacation road trip to Atikokan, Canada, and getting up there and visiting with a Canadian that follows American politics probably more than what a lot of Americans do, and got into some political conversations with him, and beautiful country up there. It was on a 4,000-acre lake that was his private lake, and caught some good fish. But I seeing the country that we drive up there, and it's very good to be home. And Ottawa is definitely home. So glad to be back.
Welcome back. Commissioner Crowley?
I have none.
Okay, that moves us on to report by the mayor, and I actually don't have a report, so I will move us on to announcements. September 20th, which is today, we do have our lunch meeting with City, County, and School Board at the County Annex. Then we have an opportunity to thank Officer James Kearns from 2 to 4 tomorrow. He is retiring from the Ottawa Police Department, so we certainly want to give him well wishes. And if you can attend that reception, that would be great too. Public is certainly invited, correct? Yes. Excellent. We would love for the public to show up for that. 2 to 4 at the police department. We have a study session on the 25th of September and the 2nd of October, and we have a regular meeting on the 4th. We also have a fall festival for our city employees, retired individuals who worked for the city, and volunteers who have given their time for the city from 5 to 8 at the Street Barn on the 6th of October. If there's nothing else to be brought in front of the commission today, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Mayor, I do have one more thing.
Yes.
I am a new grandpa, I should say. As of last Friday, Leo Boaz Matias was born in Salem, Oregon, 9 pounds. So a future linebacker position in King defense is in line. So
And if we could talk him
feel
into
pretty
being
good.
a citizen of Ottawa, maybe.
That would be
yeah.
a good thing, too.
Mayor
You
Lee
bet.
probably like that, right?
We'd all love that.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you, thank you.
Is there, would you like
And I
to?
would make that motion to adjourn with that.
Oh, excellent. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Excellent. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries.